Hello everybody, this is Kyrix for this year in Kyrix 2020. Let's get this out of the way. 2020 was a motherfucker. It just was. And even for someone like me who didn't have the worst year, it still wasn't a good year. It honestly wasn't. I mean, I had some highs, but there were a lot of lows, and I'm one of those rare exceptions who came out of 2020 fairly well off. We gotta talk about the fucking elephant in the room of the coronavirus. I actually had it in January of the start of this year. Turns out when it was just hitting at the end of 2019, because I was getting information on it that early, you know, like hints that there was a virus going on. Seeing memes about on Facebook about don't touch your face, make sure you wash your hands, etc. You know, and most of that directed at other countries. Well, my roommate works in an airport, and there was a party, you know, New Year's Eve kind of thing. All them got together. He got it, gave it to us, you know. So I basically spent most of the year riding high on natural immunity and luck. I haven't caught it since, although apparently you can catch it multiple times. We now have a vaccine, 2 vaccines at last count, actually, that are out and about in the world. And I'm gonna preface this video, I'm gonna step away from the thing and talk about this video real quick. I had originally had an idea in mind for how I wanted this to end, and I think I even mentioned in a couple Twic episodes, like, oh, I'd love it if I ended it this way, but it just came off as completely unfeasible to me. So what I was gonna do is just, you know, gather the tribe and wander the savannah for the better part of an hour, you know, and then just kind of wrap up, hi, this year in Kyrix, etc., blah, 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 see you in 2021. And then something happened. It'll happen shortly from here, actually. I will find a landmark that's called something like Exit to the Savannah or Gateway to the Savannah, and I'm thinking, wait a second, I'm at the edge of the savannah. I'm pretty sure this connects to the jungle biome. And as it turns out, it does. And I start going through there, and I start seeing green grass instead of all this yellow grass that I'm so used to now. And I start getting excited. And you'll see me follow the landmarks, and you'll actually see a point where I stop for like 3 minutes because I'm pulling up a map. And we'll get to that later, but I do get the ending I was after. Anyway, so with coronavirus, I had to suffer through it at work. And I probably infected at least a couple people. You know, I say that rather blasé. I say probably just because we weren't getting real hints about Florida being a hotspot for it. So it's entirely possible I didn't spread it to a goddamn person. Which is amazing because I actually worked in the back at the time as part of One Touch, where I basically had a handle on almost everything that went through the store. But yeah, I did pretty good about keeping my hands clean because I'd have frequent bathroom breaks, blowing my nose, etc. And ironically, once I got over coronavirus, it immediately transitioned into a cold, and that's when my ass got sent home. Like, you know, you're making all your coworkers nervous. I'm like, boss, I have a cold, you know? And I know I have a cold because there are certain symptoms that are exclusive to a cold. And I always get them in a certain order. One that is a sort of a pseudo-symptom that can lead to a cold with me is I'll get the stuffy nose, or I'll start getting a runny nose. But that there's a couple different triggers for that, so that's why I call it a pseudo-symptom, because sometimes I'll get a runny nose just from cold weather, and sometimes I'll just get it for the fuck of it. Like if I stay up too late, you know, my body starts shutting certain things down. There, Betsy. And apparently nasal flow control is one of those things. I'm sorry, kitty. And in this particular case, the real dead ringer, the thing that triggers it for me, is that sore throat feeling when you know you're gonna have throat issues. You know, it's kind of like, for lack of a better word, you can feel the inflammation. And when I wake up to that, I know it's time to buy some Dayquil. And I did. And basically I told the boss, you know, I've got the cold, and he said, okay, I want you to go home, you know, clock out right now, go home, do not come back until your cough is gone. Well, here's the problem. My respiratory system is not what it should be, and it takes me ages to shake a cough. Like, I was well and truly at a point where, you know, I knew I wasn't sick, but the cough was still there. And that was like the last week of the 3 weeks that I was on quarantine. And fortunately for me, I was able to get my Sedgwick to do my leave of absence, my paid leave of absence. And extra fortunately for me, that was a hell of a month. Because I was getting... That's what it was. I was getting my leave of absence pay, which is about $800. I was getting my tax returns, which were about $1,000, and I was getting the stimulus check of $1,200, all in the span of about a week. And I think that might have also been a 3-week month for me. So yeah, it was good. It was good, pay wise. But there were some flaws to it, like notably the fact that no one, I can't say no one, Reaper's wife told me, no one other than her had told me to contact Sedgwick, and when she did, I thought it was a case of, I thought Sedgwick was like a workers, not workers' comp, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to taste a particular word, that word being workers' rights, basically, like, if, to let them know, hey, you know, I don't want to be fired kind of a thing. I thought that's what it was, like a worker lawyer kind of thing. I didn't realize they handled leaves of absence. And I was about a week and a half in before I figured that out. And I was deep into the second week by the time the check was cleared. And then it was like 3 weeks later that I finally got the check. And it was a big mess, but it sorted itself out. And for a while, I actually served as a warning to other workers who, you know, tripped the COVID scanner, because I'm like, you do not want to deal with leaves of absence. Oh dear. I might actually have to do this in 2 parts, because I'm seeing... My thing told me that this file told me that I could do this in a max of 80 minutes, but I'm seeing at a certain point I'm seeing a red mark on the on what I'm looking at here. It's the timeline, yes. I'm looking at the timeline and I'm seeing a big red blotch there. And that's not good. I think that's the cutoff point, because that's about the 60-minute mark. So I might have to, you know, cut this at the halfway point between the 2 clips, because this was done in 2 clips. And then continue my commentary there, which is going to fuck with my flow, but oh well. Anyway, I kind of served as a warning that you don't want to go on a leave of absence. The paycheck's a nightmare. But anyway, it all went well enough. I actually had another incident when I first started the cart pushing, which was, I want to say, in September. September sounds right. I had an issue where I was pukey. You know, I had one day where I just had really bad, not quite diarrhea, but definitely had to use the bathroom a lot more than I should have. which happens from time to time. But then the following day I was pukey. Like I got home and basically had to throw up immediately. And then the next day I was at work and I had to throw up. I literally had to walk to the back of the store because didn't want to do this in a normal stall. I went to the family restroom and puked a little bit, went back to work. And I mentioned that to some coworkers, and specifically I mentioned it to a night maintenance manager who has since been let go. Apparently they said he was stealing, which seems really strange to me. But anyway, I spoke to him and he's like, oh, make sure you put that in your COVID screening. And I did, and that was another 2 weeks leave of absence for me. But that paycheck went a lot smoother than the last one, although it did fuck up other things, but we'll not worry about that right now. Pokemon's been doing good. This was the year that the DLCs released. Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. I still have not done much with Crown Tundra. I'm basically concentrating on the Dynamax adventures, trying to get at least one more shiny legendary before I move on. Really, I'm procrastinating. I don't want to hook up the computer for that to do 3DS recording or Switch recordings. I don't want to. It's just kind of a hassle. But I'll eventually get around to it. I need to. Because, I mean, I paid, what was it, $40 for both of them, for both games worth. And I don't want to let it go to waste, so I'm not going to let it. And, yeah. I'm somewhat distracted because right as I was doing this, I saw a thing on Facebook where a person's saying shit about movies that they don't understand, and you know how that sets me off. In this case, they're talking about Wonder Woman 1984, and they said the word that, because of Star Wars, really sets me off, which is plot holes. And why does that set me off? Because a lot of times when people say plot holes, it's shorthand for, I didn't understand this and I'm too lazy to look up the actual answer. In this case, they're like, the plot holes didn't bother you? Like Barbara getting 2 wishes when he couldn't get 2 to his aid? I'm like, no, because he has ways around that. Barbara didn't get 2 wishes. She just got a second wish applied to her from someone else. But I'll get to that when I get off of here and can go on Facebook. I actually have a lot more DVDs. This is actually the year when I built up my DVD collection, now that I think about it. I wish I had another DVD shelf that wasn't covered in spider webs, because I have 2 of them, but Yu Yu Hakusho takes up almost all of one shelf, and the rest is taken up by video games. I might actually do something about that, because I have since stopped using Yu Yu Hakusho in its DVD cases, because they've gotten sticky from soda, or the cat got into the box and peed on it or something, you know. Just various things that make them very unpleasant to touch. And, yeah, so I kind of have them in one of those little zipper cases. So I might actually get rid of the cases. I don't want to, though, because that hoarding part of me wants to collect them forever, but I know that's kind of dumb. But yeah, this, when I had the stimulus check, I built up a lot of stuff. Haven't watched almost any of them because I don't really do DVDs. I just wanted them, and now I have them. I actually, this coming Sunday, it's currently Wednesday. Actually, it's now Thursday morning. It's 12:51. No, I'm sorry, 57. But it's Thursday right now, and this Saturday, this Sunday, Robert is due to come over, who I've been doing some recordings with. Not in a while. It's been about a month or 2, but we have been doing Overcooked 1 and 2 and Hitman 2 and a couple other things. But Robert and I are gonna just hang out at my house because I wanted to, and we are gonna watch Deep Blue Sea 1, 2, and 3. We're just gonna have a big old shark movie marathon. And cleared it with the roommate. He originally vetoed it. I honestly think because I told his cousin he couldn't be in there. And then I told him why afterwards, because neither of us like him, you know? And he's only, stolen from me and treated me like shit since he moved in. So why would I want to spend any of my leisure time with the guy? It's just the dumbest fucking thing you could possibly ask of me. But anyway, I'm actually, to be perfectly honest, I didn't bring it up, but I'm a little offended that he even asked. That he wants to intrude on my time with my friend. But, roommate's like, yeah, I think I might, go to the beach or the bar or whatever and watch sports that day, so we should have it. I bought him some popcorn. He's got a little popcorn flavoring. I bought myself that Smart Pop cheese popcorn that I'm going to put in my Wonder Woman bucket that I got from going to see Wonder Woman at AMC. It was pretty nice. But yeah, I honestly weathered the COVID storm a lot better than the bulk of the country. Like, I keep seeing people complaining about, oh, this is horrible, the lockdown's horrible, etc., etc., and I haven't fucking noticed. I honestly haven't goddamn noticed. And the reason I haven't noticed is because I am an essential worker. I work at a grocery store, which is considered essential, so we stayed open the entire time. Between, I want to say April and September? No, it would have been like March and September. Between those 2 months specifically, I had about 5 weeks where I didn't work. 3 in March, 2 in September. And other than that, I was at work constantly, you know, as I was scheduled. I worked as scheduled. So that didn't interrupt my day at all. And I don't really travel much. You know, I don't go places. I don't go to sporting events. I did go to movies, and having the movies shut down hurt a little bit, but it didn't cramp my style too much. I did go to theme parks, and having those disrupted my monthly trips to go swimming during the hot part of the year, I might add. Really pissed me off, but when those reopened like 2 months later, I was back, you know, back in my routine. So it didn't really impact me. The main thing, and I do mourn the loss of this, was Pokemon League. Pokemon League has, to the best of my knowledge, still shut down. I mean, eventually, when all the stuff's lifted, we might be able to get back there, play some Pokemon. It'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. I've been working on a lot of stuff on Pokemon. Like, I even went so far as to get a 6IV Ditto, a legit one that I caught myself. And I caught it offline, so I know no one hacked the little fucker in, because it was on my game. But it was a neat thing. The funny thing is, I haven't really been able to do much breeding with him, but I have him. It's great. I completed the Pokedex again. Got Zarude, which is the new giveaway legendary or mythical, one of the two. I still have to get the Crown Tundra legendaries on Sword and Shield. Once that's done, it's done. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, COVID didn't do to me what it did to a lot of people. And I understand in a lot of cases that some people were just fucked over. But one thing I dearly fucking love that COVID did, and I wouldn't trade this for damn near anything, is the fact that it gives me a clap back for all the smarmy little get-a-job shits out there. People who are like, oh, you're working minimum wage, get a job, get a real job, etc. You know, talking about their office work, or whatever it is they do, like, oh, I'm in the movies, oh, I work in an office, I do this, I do that. I'm like, bitch, you sat on your ass and collected unemployment while I did real work. Because that's the thing people forget, is when you hear essential worker, you think healthcare worker. You don't think grocery store. But, and I'm not trying to diminish what the healthcare workers did, but my ass was what was keeping your ass fed when the rest of the country was shut down. You know. And it just irks the shit out of me when people would say and do shit like that, because there's kind of no reason for it. You know, you don't have any room to fucking talk, because like I said, your dumb ass was sitting at home for 6 fucking months. Well, you know, I worked. And granted, I didn't work for minimum wage, but they don't know the difference. people are still under the impression that Walmart is operating under the rules it did in the fucking 90s, you know. Where it's like, oh, we do this, we do that, blah, blah, blah. No, none of that shit is a thing, you know. And I suppose I should address the other elephant in the room, which is the fact that I am no longer employed by Walmart. Now, there's no hard feelings on my part. It was legitimately my fuck-up that did this. So it's not like, oh my god, they fucked me over, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. Honestly, if I hadn't lost control of the mule, and did so in a very irresponsible way, I honestly should have known better. But if that hadn't happened, I'd have just had a normal write-up, they'd have yelled at me. There would have been talk about the points for termination, but I would have cleared up the fact that, hey, I don't have 7 points, I have 4, you know, which would have kept me employed with a write-up. But, you know, it's not their fault. They did what they had to do. And it honestly kind of pays off for me, as dumb as that sounds. Yes, losing my job pays off for me, because recently my bike broke. Again, you know, bearings went out. It happens to me a lot. And the problem therein is that I have been working consistently, with like 1 or 2 days aside, I have consistently been working the 7 to 4 shift. That is 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Why is this a problem? Well, this is a problem because the buses don't run that early in Florida. At least not in my county. They don't even start until like 6 in the morning. And the bus that would get me to work would not get me there until like 7:30 to 8 in the morning. Bus home? Sure, fine. Which meant that I either had to get a ride, which my roommate usually isn't up that early, and none of my friends are, none of the ones that would take me, or I have to take an Uber. And the problem is, Ubering to work 5 times a week is about $100. So I went from having a nice surplus of money to being dead broke in a week because of my bike. And while I love my job at Walmart, like, honestly, if they were to call me tomorrow, because it's like midnight right now, but if they called me and said, hey, Kyrix, we'd like to have you back as a cart pusher or in Cap 2 or whatever, I'd go back. No problem. It would save me the trouble of job searching for one. But I'd go back. I had fun at Walmart. I enjoyed working there. I generally wouldn't mind working there again. I say generally because of the transportation issue. Now, the thing with the bike is this has opened up 3 major opportunities for me in the jobs market. Because I wouldn't quit my job at Walmart. Like I said, I genuinely enjoyed my work there. Whether I was in Cap 2 or at, cart pushing. Now, the first thing that opened up, and this isn't a serious consideration on my part, this is a kind of a, hey, I could also do this. So, on my tier list, this is the bottom of the barrel tier. I could work at Target, because there's a Target nearby, and it's the same kind of work that I did at Walmart, so there wouldn't be a drastic change. There might be some policy differentials, but who knows, maybe they'll let me listen to my headphones. I mean, that would be nice. And it would give me access to a lot of the same kind of products that my Walmart sold, because the Target that I'm thinking of is one of the supermarket Targets, so there's food there. I could shop on my way home, kind of thing. This Target also happens to sit as a bus hub. It's in a big mall. And when I say a bus hub, I mean literally if I were to exit the back of the store, I'd be at the bus stops. And I say stops plural because it's one of those mall stations where they got like 5 shelters and a couple benches. So that's my ride to and from work. So even if my bike's done, as long as I don't have the extreme early or extreme late shift, I can get to work reliably every day. And from what I've seen, I think they're at $15 an hour now. So I'd actually be making more money for the same basic work as at Walmart. The reason Target's low on my tier list is I've heard recently, like 2 days ago, from a cart pusher who was just at Target because I mentioned it to him, and he's like, "Oh, you don't want to work at Target." But the thing with Target is, for reasons I have never understood, and to this day I don't know why, it feels weird to me in a Target. Like, it's not. I'm uncomfortable there. You know, not like in a bad, really bad way where it's like, oh my god, I feel sick or whatever. I'm just not at ease in a Target. Like, if I walk into a Winn-Dixie or a Publix or an Albertsons, if I found another one, you know, I'd be fine. Walmart, etc., GameStop. Target just feels wrong. It's something in the air. I don't know why. I think it's the fact that the interior is all red, and for some reason that sets off alarm bells in my brain. You know, as opposed to the predominant blue of Walmart, which is very soothing. Sometimes colors affect you, you know. But Target is a possibility. Possibility number 2, and this is one that occurred to me afterwards. This is a very high on the tier list, but not one that I'm necessarily going to chase. GameStop. I now have retail experience, even though it wasn't cashier or sales work. That might be what I needed to get a job at GameStop. And the good thing about GameStop is, as long as I don't, again, have the closing shift, I can make my bus to and from work, so I don't need to rush on fixing that bike. And when I do get the money to fix that bike, I'm across the street from a fucking Target, which sells bikes, you know, because it's in that same plaza. It's just on the opposite end. It's like a 10-15 minute walk to the buses from GameStop. But the cool thing about GameStop is not only would that settle all of my gaming needs, like I could just buy whatever I need to buy, reserve what I need to reserve, etc. I am fairly knowledgeable about a lot of games. You know, I haven't been keeping up as much on some of the newer shit, but I can answer a lot of questions, and I'm perfectly willing to do the thing that they do, which I don't know if this is encouraged or discouraged now, but the whole thing where you can just talk to the employees for 20 minutes about video games. Which is one of the real perks for me of shopping at a GameStop, is the fact that the employees can just chill with you. You know, there's not a lot to do once everything's, you know, out for the day. At least as far as I can tell. For all I know, they have to do all sorts of other shit that I'm just unaware of. But that brings us to the top of the tier list, and that is, ironically, working at Save-A-Lot, which is very ironic because whenever I'm talking to people on Twitter, arguing with them about Walmart, like, oh, Walmart pays their people shit, one of the examples I use is Save-A-Lot. And because Save-A-Lot expects you to do as much, if not more, than Walmart does, and they pay you far less, you know. But Save-A-Lot has 2 major perks. One, I live across the street from it. Not directly, but it's like a 10-minute walk. You know, it's something I can and do walk to. So it doesn't matter if my bike's down, doesn't matter if it's raining, doesn't matter if it's fucking freezing cold, I can get to work. Or I can get home from work. You know, I don't have to call Robert at 10 o'clock at night, like, hey man, can you pick me up at 11 p.m.? Hey, can you be here at 2 in the morning to take me home? Because I'm staying late, etc. Shit like that. And secondly, because of a bill that just passed here in Florida, the minimum wage in 2021, by September, will be $10 an hour, which will bring me $1 less than what I was making at Walmart. Now the problem is, I think there's also less hours, and if they aren't already, you know, preemptively jumping to 10 an hour, I'm gonna have to do a lot of fucking work grinding just to make ends meet. I'm gonna have to sacrifice a couple things. Like, I've already decided my movie passes are on the chopping block. I'll suspend the shit out of that. I love my movies, but not that much. This is that point right here. This is the point where I realize I can do the thing that I wanted to do right here. The door to Savannah. But yeah, this right here was the point where I realized, oh my god, this is possible. I can do this. And this is the point where I basically decided this was going to be a 2-hour video because I was going to make this happen. Anyway, like I said, the movies are on the chopping block because while I do enjoy them, I don't go enough to really justify it. And for the amount of movies I'm probably going to be seeing until I get you know, a decent chunk back, I could probably just pay to get in, you know? So it's not a huge ordeal for me. And another one that's on the block is Gamefly. Because I love my Gamefly, but the kicker with Gamefly is I haven't touched my game in a while. Like, I'm not even sure where it is. For a while I forgot what it was. Turns out it's Rise of the Tomb Raider. Or no, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So, getting on that Tomb Raider wagon still. I think it's in one of the drawers of my desk. I'll look for it later. But I haven't touched it in a while, which, you know, normally I'm willing to eat that $25 or no, it's like $18 a month. I'm willing to just eat that, no big deal, because when I get around to it, I can always pop that in to the mailbox and get the next new big game that I don't have the money for but still want to play. But right now it's not a big deal because I have a vast library of games. Like, I've got a ton of games on my Switch that I've never used, ton of games on the PS4 that I've yet to touch, not to mention all the stuff from PlayStation Now and my my monthly stuff from PlayStation Plus. I think I redeemed the PS Plus. You know, we're just gonna assume that I did. We're just gonna assume that I've redeemed this month's PS Plus. I'll check it later when I have a moment or so. But yeah, I have games. I don't need necessarily that one. And that'll free up close to $50 right there between those two services. So if I have to let something go, those are first and foremost on the chopping block. There's a couple other things I could go without. I'll actually look them up here. The good news is my phone is back to what it should be, about $75 a month. Down from the $130 for the first bill and the $95 for the second. So that's stabilized at least. But let's see. I could let it go of a couple of the patron things or Patreon things that I'm sponsoring. I could actually cancel Audible as well. That's $15 because with Audible it'll come back whenever I decide to pay it again, and I don't lose any of the books I have. I just lose access to all the free shit. Which some of the free shit's some of the stuff I want to listen to, but yeah. If I absolutely had to, I could also get out of Dropbox because I haven't been using it as much, and I could just download what's on there. No biggie kind of thing. I almost thought, well, I could get rid of Kitnip Box, but that's not really mine to get rid of. I'm not going to get rid of the girls' toys and treats just to save myself a couple bucks so that I have money for snacks and shit. That's bullshit. That's not even an option, and I'm ashamed that it occurred to me even for 2 seconds. So yeah, I can finagle it. I'm a gold medal financial gymnast. I'll live, especially if I get Save-A-Lot. Now Save-A-Lot isn't glamorous to me. I don't like the general outfit that I have to wear. It's nothing elaborate. It's just, you know, a polo shirt and pants, and I don't really like either of those things, but fuck it, paycheck, you know. And I don't like the fact that odds are very good that I'll have to work register. I just don't want to stand around and do nothing. I'd rather be the guy in the back stocking shit and unloading shit and doing shit than the guy at the register stuck there most of the day. Although I will say at Save-A-Lot, you don't live at that register. It's basically, you're there when customers are there, and then you do shit elsewhere in the store. Another option around the same tier is Circle K, local gas station. I could work there as well. But that also precludes that they're hiring. I almost had the job once. But, and it's in walking distance, you know, it's a safe enough walk that I don't feel bad if I've got to walk home at like 11 o'clock at night or 3:30 in the morning kind of thing. I don't feel in danger. You know, I'm in a very safe part of St. Pete, which is not what I could say for coming home, trying to take the shortcut home at Walmart when the sun fucking goes down. Had a gun pulled on me twice. One, I think, was a gun. Either that or some guy with a laser was being a dick. and one absolutely was a gun. Fortunately, it was just a case of my bike surprised the guy once he realized I was just some guy on a bike. He's like, "No, man, you're cool. You're cool. I thought you were trying to jump me," you know. But yeah, that was the trigger that I said, "No, I will never take this after sundown again. It's just not going to happen." But yeah, this is the moment right here where I'm looking at stuff. This is the moment where I pull out the map to make sure that I am where I think I am and that what I'm trying to do is possible. But so yeah, those are the plans that I'm looking at right now. And ideally, this month could be really good once I get that 600 stimulus. Because there's a $600 stimulus check going out. My niece and cousin have already gotten theirs. The cousin only got $400 because his family's rich, you know. But he still got his, and my niece got hers. And once mine comes in, I'm good, because then I can cover my initial bills and get the flea pills for the girls. I can... The plan is, once that comes in and my final check from Walmart, I'm just going to chunk the rent. So that January I don't have to worry about, like, oh, I've got to get a job this week, blah, blah, blah. No. I will do my best to get a job in January. Failing that, I'll call up vocational rehab and say, hey, am I still good for another year? Because I could use your help, you know. I don't think it'll come to that, because now I have a job history, and that was the thing that was holding me back. And my job history is literally a month shy of 2 years. So I held that job a long time. So that's gotta look good on me. But yeah, this is great because zooming back to the video, I'm starting to recognize landmarks now. Ironically, none of these landmarks are in my system because apparently I tried to get out of the jungle as fast as humanly possible when I played this. But yeah, honestly, one of the things that occurred to me while I was playing this, because I only recorded it like, I don't know, an hour ago. I finished it like 50 minutes ago. Because I was only done recording it for like 10-15 minutes before I started recording this. You know, the voiceover, that is. And one of the things that occurred to me is, I spent how many weeks, how many hours trying to go from the jungle biome to like the savannah and the fucking beach and all this other shit, only to make the trip back in just under 2 hours. But yeah, tier list. Definitely kind of want to work save a lot. I wish I could have held out till September when the money would have been better. But if I can stick it out to September, or if they have the minimum wage up sooner, because there's nothing that says they can't be at $10 an hour right fucking now. But the good news is, the longer I stay, the more the pay gets, because minimum wage will be going up until it hits $15 an hour, at which point it's designed to scale with the cost of living. So it's kind of an investment, really, as far as my job goes. And a good one, I think, honestly. So I am going into 2021 with a little bit of dread and a bit of optimism. Because, you know, things are on the mend. We have the vaccine now. We're switching presidents. I don't really like Biden, but I like him better than Trump, which doesn't say much. You know? So we're gonna give that a shot. That being said, I'm pretty sure our government is just not functional. Because, A, we have one group who's determined to prove that the government can't work. And they're determined to prove that by not working. And the other problem is, rather than having two groups who just differ on what best way to help the country, we are led by two tribes that are at war with each other. They are literally two warring tribes. The Democrats and the Republicans are opposing nations. They just are. It's like the Union and the Confederacy all fucking over again. And it's been like this at least as far back as the Bush era. It may have been as far back as Clinton or even before him, but I never noticed this during Reagan, Bush, or Clinton's eras. It's only Bush Jr. when this really started being a thing. But yeah, I'm going into 2021. I'm feeling good. I've got some new games. I've got, honestly, most of the things that I would ever want to buy. As far as, you know, stupid material shit, like I could really use a new mattress. That's high on the list if I can ever stockpile that kind of money. I want a new bed, because mine's old. Mine was old when I fucking got it. You know. But mattress, definite perk. I still want my PlayStation VR, which is the cost of a goddamn console by itself. And yes, I do plan to get it at my old Walmart. You know, unless I happen to be working at Target and getting a discount. And even then, honestly, depending on the price, I might still get it at Walmart. I just won't tell anyone where I got it from. But yeah, short of winning the lottery, there's not a lot of things I want. And there's a couple ships on Star Trek Online. There's a game here or there. There's a couple DLCs or little online purchases I can make, but they're just, you know, fluff. It's nothing I need. It's nothing that I will literally just cry myself to sleep about, you know. The good news is, I basically took care of that during the first stimulus. I got all my really dumb purchases out of the way, and a couple good ones. Like, I think I got a new bike. You know, I bought a bunch of games, I bought a bunch of DVDs, I got all the Star Trek Online shit that I needed. Like, I got basically dozens of really good ships. I bought lots of theme packs, like the Dominion pack, etc. Well, I don't think I got Dominion then, but like the Temporal pack, the Discovery pack, the Lifetime pack, the fucking Legendary Ships pack. I must have spent $600-700 on that damn game. But the good news is, because I did that, I don't have to again. You know, they're mine. They are on that account for as long as I have that account. So, doesn't matter how many characters I make or delete and make again, as long as I don't delete the account, I still have that shit. Which is part of the reason I was willing to make that investment. Yeah, I have been playing the lottery. I want to check something. Did anyone win the last one? And while, yes, I am holding out hope that I can win the mega jackpot of anywhere from... Oh, right now it's up to 401 million. But it bottoms out at 20 million. 20 million being the lowest you can physically win from that. But, the thing is, if I were to get, let's say, 4 wins, like if I were to get like 4 numbers, period, that's $500. And that's last time when it was like 300 something million. If I get 5 numbers, that's $1 million, you know. Huh, I think this is actually going based off of the numbers, like the base numbers. Because it's saying, like, if you get all 5 and the Mega Ball, that you're getting 20 million. Let me see that. Yeah, that's the starting jackpot. So yeah, I mean, if I were to get, you know, 4 wins in the Mega Ball, that's 10 grand. That is enough to clear out at least one of my debts entirely. Like, just chunk it down, I never hear from this company again, kind of a thing. 4 balls, $500. That's rent. That is literally, hand that to my roommate, I have rent for the month, kind of a thing. You know, 3 numbers in the Mega Ball, that's $200. That's a decent chunk of just about anything. So yeah, I don't think I want to win the Mega Jackpot. I don't think it's going to happen, but there are incentives to play, because the smaller ones, which are entirely possible, are a thing. And it's not like this is some weird pipe dream that can never happen. My aunt frequently wins at Fantasy 5, which granted is a much smaller payout. But she's won like half a dozen times. Her husband's won a couple times. On scratch-offs, at least 2 separate times, she's won about 10 grand or so. So, I mean, it's not like I don't even know people. Because I personally know people who've jackpotted for those amounts. And granted, 401 million's a little beyond the pale. And I could do some wonderful things with that money if I had it. Like, I would never need to worry about money again, because I have plans on how to properly set it up so that it continues existing. It's not like I'm just gonna fucking hit my debit card and go to the mall, you know. I have long-term plans for that kind of cash. But even something as simple as getting like 10 grand, like I said, it's literally using the 10 grand as an example. If I were to get, well, again, that's just at the base 20 million, so at 401 million, that could be like 20 to 50 grand. If I had 20 grand or so, I could just send that to Social Security and pay off what I owed them, you know. But yeah, this is great, because this is the moment when you, and I kind of wish I had my mic on for this, because this is the moment when I started getting really excited, because I know where shit is now. Like, I'm recognizing where I am and where I'm going. In a couple minutes, a pause menu is going to pop up for a second, which basically signals that, hey, this is the moment, you know, cut the video here and start the next one. And that's the moment when I'm going to cut this commentary and then come back. But yeah, honestly, if I were to ever get that jackpot, I would have to establish a couple things. Like, I'd have to figure out what it would be for my new place, because I would want a house. And I would probably have it made, not just, you know, buy a house that exists. Have one made for some very specific things. Like, I'm going to want a specially enclosed backyard that nothing's going to crawl under or over the fence to get at my critters, so that I can then just have the pet door open for them at all times. They can just go outside and play forever, you know. They only need to come inside to eat if they want. Or, in the case of Winkles, they might never leave the house, you know, but the option would be there. So Willow and Rio and Betsy and Mike could just go outside and chill if they wanted to. And if the weather gets bad or they just want to come inside and snuggle, they can. I'd want a couple rooms just for recording and such. I'd want a room in case I ever had to quarantine the pets for whatever reason. And I don't mean quarantine like they've got sickness. They'd be at the vet for that. I mean like quarantine like, oh, they've got flea goo on their neck. I can't have them licking it off each other. Or these pets don't get to eat because it's after midnight and they have to go for anesthesia for their dental tomorrow, kind of a thing. Or maybe I've just got a new animal and it's not ready to physically interact with the others yet, kind of a thing. But one of the things that would come very early on is a brand new computer, basically. And you have no idea how happy I was to see boars again. I used to hate these things, and once they stopped showing up, I kind of missed them. But I would get a new computer that could just record better. Like, I could give you fucking 1080p recordings all the time, and just super HD shit and all that. And anyway, okay, here we go. And we're back. But yeah, like, recording, I really need a better setup for recording. Like, I would like to have, you know, like, a computer just for editing, a computer for recording, you know, a computer for storage, shit like that. Just a big system, ideally like a room that exists solely for that, and one of the few rooms in the house that the cats couldn't get into. I mean, I would have like a glass wall on one wall so that they could see me from the other room, so they could know, hey, Daddy's in here, this is what he's doing, and we can see him, he's okay, but we can't go in with him, you know, that kind of thing. So that way they could still be near me, but without being underfoot. Now, I'm sure at least some of you have figured out long before now what it is I was doing, and the goal is to get to the original starting oasis of the game. I thought it would be just wonderful, and I thought this, like, way back when I first hit the beach. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I came through all these other biomes and then somehow managed to wind up right where I started? Because I didn't have an ending for this. I was planning to just, you know, go on and then evolve and just... And I even thought about evolving at the end of this video, which I don't do, spoilers. But I'm like, no, the only real way to do it, and it would be impossible to do in a video or two, shows what I know, would be to find my way all the way back to the original Oasis. And end where we began, basically. And that's what I did. And I might, just for the sake of it, just, you know, evolve the character and play a little more on the Twitch file. Just in case someday I decide to come back to this, because what happens is anything you unlock carries over to other playthroughs. Not necessarily in the way like, oh, I'll start with all these things. Any new evolutionary stages I achieve, I can start as. Any major oasis that I get to, I can start at. So I could start at the beach now if I wanted to. And I kind of want to go through and fill out the map and all that shit and just get all these starting locations and get all the different starting species. And maybe someday I could do this as This Week in Kyrix again, or I could do a full-on Let's Play, or some other special event with it. But the Twitch file isn't going away. You just won't be seeing it ever again, you know. While this tribe may go on to have other adventures after this video fades to black, you, the viewer, can rest assured that the Twitch tribe lived happily at the Jungle Oasis for the rest of time. You know, that's just where they are. But anyway, I'm not sad to see 2020 in the rear view. I'm a little shocked, actually. Partly because I haven't been going to work. All these days have crept up on me. Like, one of the things I've noticed, and this only really came up when I started working, is that if you leave me to my own devices for more than a day, I sleep a lot. Like, a lot. Like, I will just have random cat naps throughout the day. And that has been a staple since my firing, that I just keep having these fucking cat naps. And some days I'll just sleep for a little while. Some days I will wake up thinking it's tomorrow. The fact that it is getting dark at like 4:30, 5 o'clock doesn't help, because I'll sit here the whole time thinking, oh my god, it's 11, and then it's 6, you know? Or I'll think it's morning when it's actually just really late night. Like, I'm thinking, oh, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. No, it's 8:30. You know, that kind of shit. In a minute, I'm going to notice that I've got that saber cat trapped on that rock, and I'm going to capitalize on that. Just get him out of the way. You'll see me having a moment of indecision, because I recognize this spot. Like, I've camped here in other games before, and I was pretty sure that the side I'm on now is the side that leads to the oasis that I want, but apparently it's the side I'm heading towards. And you'll actually see me have that moment of indecision where I'm convinced that I've gone the wrong way, but it turns out I'm on track. The map didn't lead me astray. Yeah, so yeah, New Year's snuck up on me. Like, I'm just now, as I'm recording this, realizing that this is New Year's. This is New Year's Eve. It is December 31st, 2020. It's 2 o'clock and 5 minutes in the fucking morning, you know? That just, it's weird to me. This month dragged on, and then when I got fired, it disappeared in a fucking week. I mean, granted, it would disappear in a week because I got fired on Christmas Eve, and it's a week from Christmas. But I mean, it actually felt like no time at all to me. Like, the days just kind of vanished. Like, here I am acting like I've still got several days before my plan to apply to these various jobs. Turns out, no. It's gonna be basically, I'm gonna try and get to work Monday. You know? That kind of thing. I mean, we'll see how that goes for me. I've got to apply to these various places. I'm still waiting on my stimulus. There's a lot going on. And I might actually end up having a contact vocational rehab. You'll have the deets by the 3rd? Let me taste the calendar here. No, the 6th. By the 6th, you'll have an update on how all this shit's gone for me. Hopefully well. Wish me luck. Hell, wish me luck that I win the lottery, because I hit 401 million and this channel's going to pick up in a big way. Like, I will actually start holding contests and giveaways and charity events and shit. When I say the channel will pick up, I don't just mean, oh, my quality is going to improve. No, I'm going to start organizing things. Like, there will be things that happen. Like, big high-end collabs and shit. And, I don't foresee that happening. At least not this year. You know. But that's not going to stop me from trying. I love that I completely dropped the fucking pace and lost track of so it's just dead now. But yeah, Ancestors is a great game. There are some changes I would make to this. Like, it should have had a patch to fix the AI, if nothing else. I'm gonna look something up. I've got 20 minutes. I'm gonna look something up about this game if the... That's a question. Is it multiplayer? No, I know it's not multiplayer. Ooh, August 27th, 2020. Panache Digital was honest enough to say they've already designed a sequel for the game. Booyah. Okay, so it looks like they have it on paper, they've got it designed, but it's not a current project. So there might be an Ancestors 2, and I really hope there is, because even with this game, to me, feeling unfinished, and I don't mean that like it ends in a cliffhanger, which I assume it does, because it gets you straight to, like, fucking Mesopotamia, but even with that, it's just, some of the mechanics don't feel like they are the utmost of what they could be. It's still a fantastic game. I do not, even for an instant, regret buying it. It was absolutely worth all the hype that I gave it. Well, it was worth about 80% of the hype. Let's face it, very few things are ever worth all of the hype you build for it. But it was good. It was fantastic to me. Oh boy, I've got a nice little fight on Twitter to step into. I'm one of those people. I like to argue with people. I just do. It's my fuel. It gives me life. I honestly do, and it's actually amazing to me how many people can dish it out and can't fucking take it. Because I will just have these little mini arguments with people, and my favorite, and this is a fucking crowning achievement for me. This is a triumph I am proud of to this day. I say that like it happened years ago. It happened like 6 months ago. I got into an argument. I don't even remember what it was about. It's probably about religion or Star Wars, one of the two. Religion and Star Wars, that's what I fight over. And this, I'm pretty sure it was a woman. It's really hard to tell on Facebook. We're going to go with woman. This woman was in there, and she was arguing with me, and she's like, I'm pretty sure it was on the Michio Kaku thing, so it was probably a science thing. But nevertheless, whatever it was, we were arguing, and she's like, oh, any minute now, this guy's gonna block me. Just watch. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I just kept tearing into her. Every time she said something, I just fucking slam whatever it was she said. And then I stopped being able to see the comments, and I'm thinking, oh god, we got into such an ugly fight that the person deleted the thread. That the person who started the thread deleted it. Because that happens. That's happened to me, where they delete the thread right out from fucking under me. Until someone left a like on my comment. At which point I discovered and proclaimed, because they wouldn't know, she blocked me. I couldn't see the responses because she fucking blocked me. The woman who kept bragging that any minute now I would block her because I couldn't win the argument, blocked me because she couldn't win the argument. But yeah, this happens with pretty impressive frequency with me, that I just outlast whoever it is I'm fighting with. Because this is fun for me. I'm not going to go so far as, don't you do it, Willow, I see you. Fucking laying down and slowly inching her way up the TV till she can get to the middle where she likes to be at. Stop it. I'll ban you from the desk. But yeah, the thing is, most people look at arguments as, you know, something they have to do or whatever. To me, it's entertaining. I genuinely enjoy arguing with people. It's fun. It's not a chore to me. So, when I argue with someone, I'm in it for the long haul. Now, that's not to say that I'm not genuinely trying to prove a point as well, because I am. But even if the argument goes nowhere, and a lot of times internet arguments do go nowhere, I still derive plenty of entertainment out of it. And I wouldn't go so far as to say that I'm a troll. I don't start arguments that I don't fucking believe in. Like, I'm not gonna fucking join a fan club of something that I absolutely love and just talk shit about it just to watch the comments explode. If I go off on something, it's because I believe that thing is fucked up. Like, an example, I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars era of Star Wars. If there was a Clone Wars era fan club, I'm not going to go in there and talk shit about it. Just to start a fight, you know. Whereas I might do that with the Rebellion era movies. You know. And even then, I'm not going to join a fan club to do it. Like, my absolute hatred for The Empire Strikes Back is well known. I'm not going to join an Empire Strikes Back fan club just to start shit. And if I did find myself somehow in the said fan club, I'm not going to start shit, I'm probably just going to leave. But I won't start shit just to start shit. Like, I'm not gonna go like, oh, Return of the Jedi, I love this movie, let me start a fight, you know. I'm not that, but everyone assumes I'm trolling because they cannot comprehend the idea that I hold such a vastly different opinion from them. Like, just earlier, I was talking about how I loved the Wonder Woman 84 movie. And they're like, how much are they paying you? I'm like, they ain't paying me shit, you idiot. I actually like the fucking movie. And how fucking sad are you that you think someone has to be paid to have an opinion different than yours? You know, I just fucking want to slap the shit out of the internet. But yeah, there's arguments going on Twitter, and I'm salivating. I'm not gonna lie, Twitter is the thing that actually final strawed my job. I was having an argument on Twitter, just taking a little bit longer to post, and the boss is right there, you know. And normally that just would have been a write-up, it would have been, you know, slap on the wrist, but I had the collision. I don't count, even though that was the thing that finalized my firing, I don't consider that to be the thing that got me fired. Because it was a fucking misdemeanor, you know. It was a 3 strikes you're out kind of situation. That was strike number 3, you know. But yeah, we're putting 2020 in the rear view. I'm not so naive as to think that 2021 is going to be infinitely better, that, like, Biden's going to take office and the government's going to change, that I'm just going to land the best job ever and instantly be a millionaire kind of thing. No, there's going to have its own sense of struggles. There's going to be new shit that pops up, and we're still not completely over COVID-19 as it is. I mean, the vaccines are distributed, but they're distributing. They're not distributed yet. Like, there are plenty of people who haven't gotten them, myself included. I do have Robert on standby to go in with me when it comes time to get that shot, because I don't needle very well at all. I don't needle well at all. And I'm going to need to be physically restrained. I mean, usually I'm good with shots, but there's always that chance, But I'm optimistic going into 2021. It'll be different. Oh, my New Year's resolution. I haven't done one of these in a while, I don't think. I think I just did some generic thing like, I'm going to grow the channel a little bit. My New Year's resolution this year is to try and stick with this channel. To get things uploaded when they're ready. To get things recorded and processed on time. I don't want 2021 to be like 2020, where I have every episode of This Week in Kyrix recorded, although some of them might be like 2 weeks fucking late, but I'm 6 months behind on posting them. Like, before I started my big upload surge right before my birthday, my last upload had been halfway through August, and that was inexcusable. I mean, if I miss a week or two, that's fine, but this, no. And I think I can stick with it, and I owe that to my new setup recording. And then, like I said, if I can get the Save-A-Lot job, just as an example, there's not going to be any of this weird transit shit where I gotta wait on Robert to show up, or we have traffic issues, or my bike doesn't work, or the Uber's late, or I miss the bus. It's just walk home, do my shit. Plus, it'll save me money in the long run, because at McDonald's? Fucking McDonald's? Really, Kyrix? At Walmart, I would spend so much money on food. And not even good food. Like, I would have to buy candy and ice cream or a pie. And every now and then I treat myself to chicken tenders or mozzarella sticks, or on rare occasions McDonald's. Because I just had what we had in the break room. Like, we didn't have paper plates, so I'm not going to cook hot pockets on a fucking paper towel, especially since COVID ripped through all of our paper towels, And we don't have a stove in there, so. But if the lunch policy at Save-A-Lot is anything like the lunch policy at Walmart, I could just buy some mac and cheese, walk home, cook it, eat it, walk back to work, Have real food on my own stove, because I would now live close enough to work that I could just go home and cook. Or take a nap, or whatever, And that could pay some serious dividends for me in the long run. So, I hold out hope. And, like I said, I'm good. I won't say financially, because I can't be good financially until I'm secure financially, which means until I have a source of income beyond a single check. I can't really say that, but in the sense of being fine with the things I want to purchase versus what I need to purchase, I'm good. I don't crave a particular video game right now. The fact that my computer is so low end and difficult to game on right now really is a point in my favor against me expanding my Steam library too much. Which my Steam library has grown quite a bit in 2020. Because I have more money now, etc. Plus there was, like I said, the stimulus check, my tax returns, the leave of absence pay. I fucking used that money. But I don't have to worry about my Steam library getting too big. I have most of the games that I really, 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 really want on the PS4 and the Switch. Let's be honest, most of the games that I have on the Switch, I get on the PS4. I actually have multiple copies of some games because I have it on Steam and then on PS4, or I have it on Switch and then PS4, and I'm pretty sure there's at least one game I have on all three systems. Matter of fact, if I somehow talk myself into getting Civ 6 for the PS4, which I think is a thing, then I will in fact have that game on the Switch, on Steam, and on PS4. And it is a possibility. Especially if there's crossplay. If there's crossplay, I'll do that just to fucking game with people. And here it is. At long last, the first truly safe home in the game. Where, for one of the first times ever, I could just put the weapons up, put the rocks up, dismiss the clan, and know that everything's going to be okay. And that's really the only platitude I can offer going into 2021 is everything's going to be okay. I don't know for sure that it will. Things could spiral out of control. But let's just give it a shot, right? I mean, honestly, what more can you do? Just give it a shot. I did actually think about evolving right here, but that would, unless they, well, even if they did go to a new form, that would kick me out of this place and undo everything that I did up until this point. But it's something I'll probably do off screen just to see if I triggered another level. Because I don't think I've gotten beyond this form yet, so... But yeah, tune in the 6th for Mountain Blade Warband. I already have like 3 or 4 episodes recorded. I just gotta slap some commentary on there and we're good to go. So I think with this new system of pre-recording the gameplay and then post-recording the commentary, followed by immediately transferring it to the computer and uploading it, I think I found a system that'll work. That'll make it doable. Yeah? Yeah. Make it doable. So that we have the means to do all of the things. Just keeping track of my shit. "2020 was a motherfucker, but we've got another roll of the dice. We're gonna go into 2021 clean slate. For me, a really clean slate. New job, you know? I don't know what it is yet. Haven't gotten it yet. But going in, new job, new employment opportunities. New opportunities, period. You know? A lot of new stuff going in. New job, new president. New recording system. It is nice that after all the fun or all the struggle, the monkeys are finally safe. And I think it was funny. It was a real powerful feeling coming back through the swamp, knowing that I could be on the ground, because I used to be terrified, like, oh my god, it's so dangerous, and coming back, I'm like, bitch, I've killed elephants. Bring your worst. You know? It's just a real powerful feeling coming back here, wandering fearlessly through areas that used to scare the shit out of me, like the swamp. Like, I didn't want to be on the ground in the swamp, because the saber cats would get me, or the crocs would get me, or something. I don't even notice. They're nothing to me now. They're just a nuisance at worst. So, that brings us to the end. See you next year, everybody. Bye-bye.